I started really working as an actress. There were about 4 of us. Jada Pinkett Smith, Halle Berry, Regina King, and Jasmine Guy.
But the drama is clearly far from over, and tensions among these Hollywood heavyweights seem to be bubbling back to the surface. Rumors are swirling that Nia Long and Gabrielle Union have grown tired of what they see as Jada Pinkett Smith repeatedly putting Will Smith in uncomfortable public situations. And now, they are no longer staying quiet. But let's take a step back. Long before the Healing Journey era and the Red Table Talk rebrand, Jada had a reputation that wasn't exactly warm and welcoming.
But the women that I was in constant competition with, mostly it was me and Jada. It was like, oh, do you want the brown-skinned spicy girl, or do you want the light-skinned spicy girl? Which one do you want?
In fact, many insiders have long whispered that she carried herself as the dominant force among her peers during the 90s, especially at a time when opportunities for black actresses were limited and fiercely competitive. According to those who share that space with her, Jada's presence was intense, and she wasn't necessarily known for uplifting others in the industry.
They cast Jada to play his girlfriend.
Is that? No.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes, they cast Jada, and they were like, Jada's too short. And I'm like, I'm only about 2 inches taller than her. That does not make a difference, right? And so the joke that I have with Jada is I got the job, but she got the husband.
Married to one of the biggest stars in the world only seemed to amplify that perception, with claims that she made sure her status was always felt. Over the years, this reportedly created lingering friction, particularly with Gabrielle Union and Nia Long. Despite occasional public displays suggesting unity, many believe the bond between them is more for appearances than genuine friendship.
She feels about you.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, you know how she feels about you. And then it was like, okay, girl, bye.
Yeah.
For 17 years.
Wow.
And even though we're both very outspoken women, we're both activists, our husbands are friends, I've worked with her husband.
Nia herself has acknowledged the competitive dynamic that existed early in her career, noting that she and Jada were often pitted against each other for the same roles. Casting decisions frequently came down to a narrow choice, intensifying the rivalry. But beyond professional competition, there are hints that deeper, more personal factors may have contributed to their strained relationship.
We both felt we had too much pride and too much insecurities to just say, hey, did that ever actually happen, or was that a creation of someone else who did not want to see 2 women rise together?
Possibly even involving Will Smith himself. The backstory between Nia Long, Will Smith, and Jada Pinkett Smith only adds more layers to the tension. Nia first crossed paths with Will when she landed the role of Lisa Wilkes on the iconic 90s sitcom The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Her character stood out as one of Will's most memorable love interests.
They're both bisexual, they do weird things in their house, and young men have left their house screaming to get away from them in their mentorship. Meek Mill.
The one who actually got him to consider settling down. But here's the twist. That role almost went to Jada instead. In a past interview, Nia revealed that Jada had originally been cast as Will's girlfriend, only for producers to change their minds, claiming she didn't quite fit physically for the part. Ironically, Nia later joked that while she secured the role, Jada ultimately got the husband, turning the situation into a light-hearted but telling anecdote.
I really hope none of that baby oil was used on those kids. That would just be in bad taste. Baby oil on babies.
Still, behind the humor, whispers suggest there may have been underlying tension. Fans were heavily invested in Nia and Will's on-screen chemistry, and speculation grew that Jada may not have been entirely comfortable with how convincing their romance appeared. From there, rumors claim her attitude toward Nia shifted, becoming noticeably distant and, at times, cold, setting the tone for a relationship that never quite found common ground. Then there's Gabrielle Union, whose history with Jada is just as puzzling.
Bashir Gray left that house screaming. August the only one that stayed, and I guess he was really sick. He needed a dog.
Hey, man. Hey, man.
And that was their kid's friend.
The two reportedly spent nearly 17 years at odds, yet neither could clearly explain why. Jada herself admitted that whenever they crossed paths, there was an unspoken tension, an energy that lingered without a clear origin. Even when they later tried to unpack the issue, nothing concrete surfaced. It seemed less about a specific incident and more about unresolved feelings, pride, and perhaps youthful ego. Gabrielle echoed a similar sentiment, suggesting that both of them may have allowed insecurities and outside influences to create a divide that lasted far longer than it should have.
Actually sat down with Will and had a conversation due to the transformation from their marriage to life partnership that they've spoken on several times.
Despite being outspoken women with shared circles and even mutual professional connections, they never addressed the issue head-on until much later. In an effort to finally clear the air, Jada invited Gabrielle onto her talk show for a deeply emotional conversation. What followed was raw and revealing, with Gabrielle visibly overwhelmed as they revisited years of silent friction. Yet even in that vulnerable moment, both women maintained that they still couldn't pinpoint the root cause of their long-standing feud.
Not involving romanticism. He gave me his blessing, and I totally gave myself to that relationship for years of my life.
Only that it had kept them apart for nearly 2 decades without ever truly understanding why. The history connecting Nia Long, Will Smith, and Jada Pinkett Smith brings an extra layer of intrigue to an already complicated dynamic. Nia's introduction to Will came through her role as Lisa Wilkes on the beloved 90s series The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, where she portrayed one of his most unforgettable love interests, the woman who nearly changed his playboy ways for good.
My life, and I truly and really, really deeply loved and have a ton of love.
But what makes the story even more fascinating is that Jada was originally in line for that very role. According to Nia, producers initially chose Jada to play Will's girlfriend but later reconsidered, deciding she didn't quite match the physical requirements they had in mind. Nia has since joked about the irony of it all. She may have gotten the part, but Jada ended up with Will in real life. While that anecdote is often shared with humor, many believe it was simmering beneath the surface. Viewers were captivated by the undeniable chemistry between Nia and Will, and as their on-screen romance gained popularity, speculation began to swirl that Jada may have felt uneasy about just how real it looked. From that point on, insiders claim her demeanor toward Nia cooled significantly, creating a distance that never fully disappeared. At the same time, Jada's long and confusing history with Gabrielle Union adds another layer to the narrative. For nearly 17 years, the two women reportedly kept their distance, despite neither being able to clearly explain what caused the fallout. Jada has openly acknowledged that every encounter between them carried a strange, unresolved tension, something that lingered without a clear beginning. Even when they eventually tried to trace it back, they came up empty-handed, suggesting the rift may have been fueled more by ego, pride, and miscommunication than any single moment. Gabrielle has also reflected on that period, admitting that both of them may have allowed assumptions, outside voices, and personal insecurities to widen the gap unnecessarily. Despite moving in similar circles and sharing mutual connections, they avoided confronting the issue for years. Eventually, in a bid to put the past to rest, Jada invited Gabrielle onto her talk show for a candid and emotional sit-down. The conversation was intense and deeply personal, with Gabrielle visibly breaking down as they revisited the years of silence between them. Yet, even in that moment of vulnerability, neither could fully identify what sparked their estrangement in the first place, only that it had kept them apart for nearly 2 decades without resolution. In that same revealing conversation, he didn't hold back about the depth of his emotions, admitting that his connection with Jada wasn't casual. It was something he poured years of his life into, with genuine, intense love that he says still lingers. But alongside that confession came a heavier truth. He explained that going public wasn't a choice he made lightly. The constant rumors had begun to damage both his career and his personal image, costing him professional opportunities and partnerships. As much as he cared for her, he described the relationship as emotionally overwhelming, something so consuming it nearly broke him. Walking away, he said, wasn't just difficult, it was necessary for his own survival, leaving a lasting impact that fundamentally changed who he is. Behind the scenes, however, even more explosive claims have been circulating. Insiders allege that Jada's romantic entanglements weren't limited to one person, suggesting a pattern that many within the industry were quietly aware of, including Nia Long and Gabrielle Union. According to these reports, the ripple effects extended far beyond the adults involved, allegedly placing Jaden and Willow in an incredibly uncomfortable position. Sources claim the siblings were repeatedly forced to navigate questions about their parents' relationship, all while maintaining a public image that didn't reflect their private reality. For years, they were said to have carried the burden of pretending everything was fine, leading to frustration, emotional strain, and tension within the family. One insider pointed out that Jaden, in particular, struggled deeply with the situation, finding it difficult to process the complexities surrounding his parents' marriage. The ongoing stress reportedly led to conflict not only between him and his parents but also within the household overall. These are the kinds of conversations that, allegedly, have been happening behind closed doors, conversations where Nia and Gabrielle are said to have painted Jada as more than just a fellow actress. In their view, she was a powerful gatekeeper, someone who set the tone in the industry and made it challenging for others she perceived as competition to thrive. And while their eventual reconciliation played out publicly, some believe it came far too late, with years of damage already done. Still, not everyone is quick to take sides. Critics have pointed out that Nia and Gabrielle themselves have faced similar accusations over the years, with some arguing they are not entirely innocent in the narrative either. Which raises the bigger question: is this truly about long-standing tension finally surfacing, or is there a deeper story that hasn't fully come to light yet? Whatever the case, the situation continues to spark debate and plenty of speculation about what really went on behind the scenes.